Hello, my loves. Thank you all so much for joining me tonight. Tonight's video is going to be on the patron saint for those born under the sign of Aries. Now, as you know, we are over and done with Pisces season. And if you saw my video for the patron saint of Pisces, I hope that St. Patrick has come through for you, that you continue to work with him, that you have developed a wonderful, wonderful relationship with him, and that moving forward, he will continue to bless you with prosperity and abundance. As we move forward on into Aries season, the patron saint for those born under the sign of Aries is none other than Saint Sebastian. Now, Saint Sebastian is called on for everything, almost pretty much everything. He's called on by soldiers, for soldiers, those for protection against the bubonic plague. He is called on by archers, pin makers, and those who wish to die a holy death. Now, let me explain that a little bit further. Let me elaborate on that. So when someone is on their deathbed and they're taking their last few moments, when they're like on their last breath, they call on Saint Sebastian to help ease the pain a little bit, to make themselves feel more at ease and comfortable. So when the time finally comes, they're not as afraid. They're comfortable and they're ready to go. That's why during when a priest is delivering last rites, they would call on Saint Sebastian and or whatever the case may be, to make the transition a lot easier. Now, as I was doing research for this video on Saint Sebastian, I found some very interesting things. That he was around when the Roman Empire was still, they were in rule, so they were in control. And it was around the time during religious persecution. So being a Christian and practicing Christianity was frowned upon during that time, because they stood to be executed if they were caught. Now, they had, the powers that be, the Roman Empire, around that time, they had their own set of rules on how they wanted people to follow religion. And it was either follow it their way or die for it. And of course, Saint Sebastian, being the rebel, was like, nope, I'm gonna do it my way. I'm gonna worship God my way, and I'm gonna try to convert people to Christianity, and so be it. So for that reason, he was ordered to be executed for attempting to convert other people to Christianity. However, the first attempt at execution failed. Now, if you see any pictures of Saint Sebastian, you see him tied to a tree with arrows coming out from all over his body. That was the first attempt. So when they found out what he was doing and they ordered him to be executed, they took him out, they tied him to a tree, and the soldiers shot arrows at him. Now, miraculously, not one of those arrows killed him. He was wounded, yes, but not one of them killed him. And he had a lot of arrows, like all over his body. Now, once they were done, the soldiers left him there to die. And when they left him there. Saint Irene, I believe her name is, if I remember correctly from my research, she was actually the one who untied him, who helped him, and who nursed him back to health. Now, when he was all better, he returned again, a second time, to the Emperor Diocletian and warned him of his sins and told him, basically just repent, see things my way, repent, and be saved. And because of that, the Emperor Diocletian was like, nope, sorry, like, these are my rules. You either follow them or you don't. And since Saint Sebastian wanted to do his own thing, he was ordered to be executed a second time. And this second time, they succeeded. He was beaten to death. So to this day, we honor him. Now, he's not very well known in Catholicism. He's not one of the ones that's talked about a lot. So I would recommend him definitely for those who have athletes in the family. If you have anybody that plays sports, he's good to have. Pray to him before going out to play a game, football, basketball, baseball, whatever sport you play. Carry a medal with you of Saint Sebastian and say a prayer to him before going out onto the field. Soldiers too, for protection, wear a Saint Sebastian medal when you go out for training, for basic training, or out into the field. When the soldiers are fighting in a war, it's good to have something like that with you, on you, for protection at all times. And yeah, it's just pretty very simple, short and sweet. One of the things too that I did find interesting when I was doing my research is that in art, he's celebrated among artists, and in a lot of paintings you see him, just he's well built. He's doesn't have anything on except maybe like a loincloth and arrows sticking out all over the place. And one important thing to note as well is that he is admired and respected by members of the LGBTQ community. Not only because of his appearance, his physique, but also because of what he stood for. Because of what he went through, like even in the face of opposition, like in persecution, he still stood his ground. He stood for what he believed in, and he died for it, and he died a holy death. He died a martyr, fighting for what he believed in. And that's how it is in the gay community as well. What do we want? Acceptance. We want to be accepted by people. We want to be loved. We want to be appreciated for everything that we do, and I think that's why a lot of people in the LGBTQ community, they gravitate towards Saint Sebastian. Now to them it's all symbolic, all his features and everything, and it's all symbolism, but it's not only that, it's also what he stood for. And remember that when you're calling on Saint Sebastian or any of the saints that I've covered in my videos, remember what it is that they stood for. Remember what they fought for. Remember what they died for, what they believed in. And it was like that for Saint Sebastian. I mean, it was a terrible time for him to be around, to live in, during a time when you couldn't even practice religion the way you wanted. You had to go by a strict set of rules that was brought on by a ruthless emperor. It was either that or die for it. And he knew what he wanted. I mean, he died for the cause. He died for a good cause, and because of it, He is respected, he is admired, and he's revered by everyone who calls on him. So if you choose to work with Saint Sebastian, do so with an open mind and an open heart. For all my Aries people out there, man, woman, and child, for those who choose to work with Saint Sebastian, pray to him, call on him with love in your heart, and ask that he protect you from all the evils of the world. No matter if you're playing in a game or you want protection from some fatal illness, from contracting a fatal illness. I mean, especially with COVID still going on, the variant and everything, everyone's getting sick, and, we're trying to prevent it as much as possible. Call on him to protect you. Wear his medal, light a candle to him, get a prayer card, a statue, anything of Saint Sebastian that calls out to you. Take him, invoke him, develop a relationship with him, and I guarantee you that he will come through for you every single time, just as every saint has come through for each and every one of my viewers. And believe me, guys, he does come through. He does come through with his end of the bargain. As long as you thank him in some way. It doesn't matter how you do it. If it's through prayer, through donations, a public thank you, whatever the case may be, however you decide to do it, you do it with love in your heart and an appreciation for Saint Sebastian for coming through for you. And once that relationship has been established, I guarantee you that he will be with you until the day that you die. And even then, he'll guide you. When you're ready to cross over, he will guide you when your time comes. Because none of us is going to be around here forever. We know that. And now we know that we have a saint that we can call on to help us, to guide us through that difficult time. And I hope that he comes through for you with whatever situation you need him for. Call on him. Get a medal, get a prayer card, a candle. Even if you don't find any with his picture on it, it's fine. Just get a prayer card, get a white candle. As I always say, if you can't find any specific color associated with Saint Sebastian, I always recommend white, because white is universal. White's for any situation. So just get a white candle and put his picture. You can print one out. Google Saint Sebastian, print out a picture. If you don't find one at the Botanica, you can always print one out and just put it there for him. Set up a little altar for him and let him take care of what he needs to take care of. Let him do the rest. And as always, I want to thank you all for being here with me tonight. I really appreciate all the positive comments, positive feedback that I've been getting from each and every one of you. I am so happy. It warms my heart to see that all the positive things that these saints have done for you, the rituals that you've performed, the prayers that you've been reciting. I mean, it's just so awesome when I hear somebody say, oh, this saint brought me this, or, this saint has helped me through my most difficult times. You don't know how much it warms my heart when I read these comments. I mean, I'm reading them, and as I'm reading them, I'm trying to hold back tears, because it's like they're so powerful and so loving, and I can tell that you guys are really, really learning from this and developing a relationship with the saints. I want you guys to be happy. I want you guys to live a wonderful life, and I hope that you will welcome Saint Sebastian into your home during this Aries season. Now, as I always say, if you want to work with him or with any other saint, ask them for permission. If he wants to work with you, he will let you know. So for those of you, my Aries people, call on Saint Sebastian for help. If with your Aries sun, moon, or rising, or even if you have somebody in your family that's Aries, or even if you're not, even if you just want to work with a brand new saint for any of the reasons that he is most commonly invoked for, you can do that as well. And I hope he comes through for you. And I love each and every one of you. May God bless you all. I love y'all so much, to the moon and back. And I will see you on the next video. Bye.